Good afternoon, this is Ben from the National Weather Service in Chicago. I'm going to update everyone on the current expectations for the wintry weather that's going to impact the area for the remainder of today, and as well as the lake effect snow that's going to impact portions of northeastern Illinois and northwest Indiana during the day Thursday. We've already had quite a bit of snowfall across the area in the last 24 hours. Here's a look at the snowfall that fell through around 7 a.m. this morning, and since then we've had an additional 1 to 3 inches, primarily north of the I-80 corridor, where we've already seen some of the heaviest snow totals. Here's a look at radar this afternoon. You can still see some moderate snow falling over far northeastern portions of the state, and that's going to continue here through the afternoon and should gradually slide to the southeast through the day today. So through the remainder of the afternoon into the early evening hours, we can expect an additional 1 to 3 inches across a good swath of far northern Illinois and portions of northwest Indiana. As we head into the evening hours, we can see an additional 1 to 2 inches of snow, primarily south of the I-80 corridor. So from the snowfall that we've already seen fall, starting around in the early afternoon yesterday, and through the additional snow that we're expecting through around midnight tonight, this map indicates the storm total snowfall that should fall through that period. This does not include the lake effect snow that's going to start later tonight, but you can see that a good portion of the Chicago metro Rockford area has received 3 to 7 inches of snowfall. And then there are some portions across the far northern suburbs of Chicago and far northeastern corner of Illinois where we've seen some heavier snowfall. Might even see some localized snow amounts in excess of 10 inches. Here's a look at the current winter weather advisories that we have in effect. It basically covers the entire forecast area, and we should see some of these advisories falling off from the northwest later in the evening today. But we also have a lake effect snow watch in effect for areas along the lake shore. Here's a look at one of our in-house models that shows how we expect the system to evolve from late tonight and through the day Thursday. You can see at midnight tonight our system snow is starting to inch southeast, south of the I-80 corridor there, but we already see some light snow developing across portions of the northern Chicago area, far northeastern corner of Illinois there. Lake effect parameters are starting to increase at this time, but they're not overly great yet at this point. So we don't anticipate any significant accumulations early in the overnight hours here, but probably some light accumulating snow, possibly as early as midnight tonight. As we head into the overnight hours and early tomorrow morning, we start to see some of those lake effect parameters becoming more favorable. You can see some of the snow intensifying across the Chicago area here, but of greatest concern is this single band that comes down the length of Lake Michigan here, and that looks like is going to be what produces the heaviest snowfall. And as I head into the next slide here by noon, you can see some additional intensification of that snow band as it reaches down the fetch, the full fetch of Lake Michigan, into the Chicago metro area. This is just one of the models, and I don't want anyone to get hung up on exactly where this is placing the snow. Lake effect bands often will wobble around. They're very finicky, so don't get too caught up in the details of this, but just to give you an idea of how we expect this to evolve and where the greatest areas of concern are. So with this, once we do get the single band set up with the intense snowfall, you can also, in the pressure fields here in red, you can see what looks to be what we call a meso low. That's something that can enhance the local snowfall rates. So we are expecting 2 to 3 inch per hour snowfall rates, very intense. And with some of these areas, especially if that meso low really gets going, we could see 3 to 4 inch per hour rates. As I step further in time, one thing we do expect as this system evolves is that it should be translating very gradually east from northwestern Illinois into, northeastern Illinois into northwest Indiana. So again, as we head into the early evening hours tomorrow, we still expect some of those heavy, very intense snow rates as it moves into Lake County, Indiana. But as we inch a little further in time, it does look like that should continue to push further east into Indiana we're a little uncertain at this time how much Porter County, Indiana will be impacted. So stay tuned if you live in that area for later updates. We might have additional headlines. Right now, this is the latest forecast snow totals that we are expecting. We should see probably a decent swath of 2 to 6 inches of snowfall, but really across the heart of the Chicago metro area is where we're concerned about some locally very heavy snowfall rates, which might lead to in excess of 6 inches of snowfall, possibly even 10 to 12 inches of snowfall in some very localized instances. Here's another view of just the general area of concern that we have highlighted in pink there, as well as some areas that could see some lake effect snow, probably not in the same intensity as right near the lakefront there, but possibly some light accumulations extending further inland, and these areas might require some additional advisories as we head into the day tomorrow. So something to keep an eye on. And finally, once we get behind this system, we do have some pretty brutally cold air that'll be moving into the area. Air temperatures of around -15 Fahrenheit for areas west of the Fox River Valley. The Chicago metro area could be seeing temperatures in the single digits below zero. And with a little bit of a wind, this will lead to some pretty brutally cold wind chill values. You can see our forecasted wind chills on this map here. So there may be some additional advisories or warnings for the wind chills Thursday night into Friday. Again, it's around 3 p.m. on January 1st, and thank you for joining me for this multimedia briefing. Forecast information could change at a later time, so be sure to check back to our website, weather.gov/Chicago, for the latest forecast information. And as always, be sure to stay tuned to NOAA Weather Radio and local media for any changes to the current watches, warnings, and advisories.